prime example of imagery in The Great Gatsby is in Nick Carraway's description of the Valley of Ashes. He calls it a fantastic farm where ashes grow and goes in depth about the different elements of this valley. He greatly glorifies the imagery in an attempt to make everything sound glistening and golden, when in reality, the Valley of Ashes is essentially a dumping ground. The green light represents Gatsby's hopes and dreams for the future. Gatsby associates it with Daisy, and in Chapter 1 he reaches towards it in the darkness as a guiding light to lead him to his goal. The green light can also represent the American dream. Nick compares the green light to America rising out of the ocean.
All the bright, precious things fade so fast, and they don't come back.
When I arrived home, I noticed that a figure had emerged on my neighbor's dock. And something told me it was Mr. Gatsby. He seemed to be reaching towards something out there in the dark. Green light.
The eyes of Dr. T.J. Uckelberg represent God staring down upon and judging American society as a moral wasteland. The Valley of Ashes represents moral and social decay that results from the pursuit of wealth. The Valley of Ashes also symbolizes the plight of the poor, like George Wilson, who live among the dirty ashes where they decay both mentally and physically. Nick describes himself on the opening page of the novel as someone inclined to reserve all judgments, yet in the same paragraph he presents a judgment of the many men who have told their stories. These stories are, according to Nick, plagiaristic and marred by obvious suppressions. In doing this, he is offering a judgment and situating himself as a narrator that will comment subjectively on his narrative. Another minor example of irony in The Great Gatsby is the fact that Daisy runs over the woman her husband is having an affair with, while in the car with a man who is in love with her. The text's central tension is that between the world of corrupt, vulgar materialism portrayed in the novel mostly by those who inhabit the West and East Egg, and the deceptive imagery, wistful beauty, and emotional force. For nearly the entire first half of the book, we hear about Jay Gatsby, but never see him. He is an enigma. We spend half the book dreaming him up, maybe bigger than Fitzgerald wants. As we learn more about Jay Gatsby, we learn that he's not as truthful as we may have thought, and that things don't necessarily work out for him, even though he's a better fit for Daisy. This creates a different type of tension between the reader and the text.